Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I want to talk to my chosen ones about how your self-awareness is to infinity and beyond. It is through the roof. It is way above the average being, and is also highly obliged with your highly empathetic vibrations that you possess. What kind of dove me into this subject today was we have a lot of people out here in today's society who don't like being called out. They don't like being exposed. You got beings who don't want to see justice being served. They don't like consequences for their actions. They don't like feeling guilty. What I realized being in this space was I would never understand half of the information that I do if I wasn't self-aware. I wouldn't be in the space I was in today if I wasn't self-aware. See, this self-awareness has been mixed in with the rest of this word spells that's been going on with the new age, how the system transitions everything. They like to be in charge, so you have it being done organically by not the system, but then you also have the system taking charge, which is creating a different narrative. A lot of beings is using self-aware as if it's like a cop-out for not taking responsibility and accountability. But for us who move with the Creator, we've been taking responsibility our entire life. I'm a big brother. I took responsibility for my life at the youngest ages that I can remember. I also had to take responsibility for their ages, for them as well too. So for people, that's operating out here in today's society who don't fully comprehend, you don't get to the point of learning the enemy tactics without being extremely self-aware. We had to go through a long transition from young to old, self-reflecting, blaming ourselves, looking at ourselves, thinking we the cause of every single problem that was happening in our life when we wasn't in fully control of our life. And what I mean by that is when we're living under other people's roofs. When we got out, everything transitions from there. But understanding these things, like, I used to be left in the house at 6, 7, 8 years old because I was extremely self-aware, to watch after my brother who a year younger than me, and also to help with my other youngest brother on my mom's side that's 5 years younger than me. Most people don't know your walk of life or how you got to the spaces that you were in, you know what I mean? I got put on a Greyhound bus from New York to Virginia at 10 years old, no cell phones. This was back in mid-90s sometime. You know what I mean? There was no cell phones, it was payphones. So for me to look at myself and not be self-aware, I could never imagine that, because I wouldn't have survived this walk of life that I live now if I hadn't been self-aware. And most of us haven't. But a lot of people in today's society that's using the wrong playbook tend to use, when you start exposing what other people are doing, what these evil entities is out here doing, they use that self-awareness as like a scapegoat, like almost like a way to throw everything under the rug. And it's like, no. I am self-aware. I was self-aware when I chose the words that I chose to use to communicate with you. I was self-aware when I chose to put these hands on you. I was self-aware when I was processing this whole environment. I was self-aware when I chose not to go into certain locations because I knew the vibrations that was over there, and I knew it could have caused me a higher consequence than I was willing to pay at the time. That shit don't work over here with us no more. For a lot of us that been in this space, you gotta stop letting people shift your narrative because they didn't walk your life. A lot of our battles that we fought was behind the scenes. I only been in front of the scenes for about 2 years now doing it this way. 3, maybe going on 3, But I've been fighting this battle my whole life behind the scenes. So when I see people or I hear people engaging as though, like, even some of the new gurus, don't focus on what the enemy is doing. It's like, Bitch, I ain't focused on them. They just keep hitting me and poking me. They doing that little thing that we did when we was little. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's in my frequency. It's in my aura. You don't have to touch me to be in my aura. My radiation off my aura be beaming. Some has the average of 3 feet. But some of us over here on this side of the spectrum, ours radiate way bigger than 3 feet. That's why somebody could stand 20 feet away from you and it still feel like they're standing in your energy, your aura. You know, we all don't radiate the same way because we all ain't been fighting the same way. But for most of us that's in the space over here, y'all have been extremely self-aware to infinity and beyond. People wasn't telling you when you was younger that you wasn't self-aware. People wasn't telling you when you was a teenager that you weren't self-aware. They didn't start saying that you should start self-reflecting and being more self-aware until you start exposing the things that these other beings was doing around you. Whether it was friends, family, spouses, you know, the system, certain locations, all of these things that was happening, you know. We way more intelligent than that. All these words, spells, how you try to manipulate things, like, it don't work with everybody. You know, it will work with a lot of people, but it won't work with everybody. And we are all in a space and a point now in our life and in this journey and in the middle of this battlefield where it's like, nah, you're not gonna keep suppressing every little piece of me over here, you know? You got enough things pressed down to where that I have to operate and figure out different ways to maneuver around this maze. You know, we know mazes all operate one way. You have to follow that way or you get stuck in there. But we creators, we create it. So we'll be the ones trying to climb over top of the wall to see where's the next turn at to the maze, you know what I mean? So we can get out of there faster. Don't fall for the traps of people trying to tell you that you are not self-aware or, you know, that you're pointing the finger out too much. We warriors over here, so it's like if I wanted cooking, I would go watch a cooking channel. If I want to watch basketball, I would go turn to basketball. I wouldn't say, man, these guys just play basketball all day on this channel. It's like, duh, go watch another channel if that's what the fuck they doing. But over here, we got that big warrior spirit over here. We not playing in the spiritual realm or this physical realm. So everybody that want to sit back and kick their feet up, y'all can do that. If you're moving with the creator, just do your part and we still fighting for you over here. I got brothers, siblings, sisters, cousins, people that I done stepped in the middle of the line for, you know what I mean? And that's something that I did it's just how my spirit is set up. People that I was around, put myself in situations just because that's how my spirit is set up. But I'll never let somebody or any of these entities out here now tell me that I'm constantly pointing the finger outwardly, because I wouldn't be in the space that I'm in now if I only focused outwardly. That just doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? I would be falling apart if I wasn't focused inwardly. If I didn't understand my spiritual realm dictates this physical realm, that my awareness is connected with my feelings, which also helps connect me even better to source, and then I practice that daily. My music I listen to is high vibing. You know, my talks that I have with the creator is high vibing. I do a lot of things in the high vibes. So when I do bump over to them low vibes, it's still easy light work. You know what I mean? It's like anything, too much of anything can be bad for you. So you can drink too much water and hurt yourself. You know, people done drown from too much water intake. You know, there's a lot of different things that can still harm your body, your vessel, if you do too much. There's still certain things, if you process too much inside here, that it will cause you to be more chaotic and start malfunctioning. That's why a lot of people get a lot of headaches and have all these things and migraines and shit. It's like you got to learn how to slow this down in here. You thinking about tree, grass, plant, bush. It's like, just, all right, let me just focus on the tree for a second. Let me get my breathing. First thing you do is focus on your breathing. Your breathing always brings you in the now. It's hard to process everything else in bills when you are solely focused on your breathing. It's just that simple, you know. But we are aware, you know. We wouldn't understand half the things we do. We wouldn't move or operate the way we do if we wasn't self-aware. So don't ever let people get you to a space of feeling like, oh man, you just keep pointing out what Sarah did, or you just keep putting out what Devontae did. And it's like, you have to limit yourself. Everything should be a vent. So if 1 week is just all been about this one being that's in your proximity, then you make sure that next week you don't make it about them. You know what I mean? It's a balance. But over here, we teaching, so it has to flow like water. We bringing awareness to this battle that's happening that we're all facing. In my world, it's like, if somebody in Amsterdam, somebody in Australia, somebody in somewhere in Africa, somebody somewhere in South America is experiencing similar things that I experienced, then it has to be some relevancy and correlation and some truth to what is actually happening out here. Most of us didn't lose our common sense. We just realized a lot of these beings out here ain't moving with common sense, and they not moving as righteously connected to the Creator as you can. We're not always going to do everything, is like to the best light as possible, even though if that's what we're pushing for, but we still down here experiencing this realm. So with that being said, we do get a little curious, we do want to expand, we do want to explore. So what we do, the same way we explore new realms in here to figure things out, it manifests out here to us exploring new realms and things out here as well too, But you want to make the ones around you that you care about, you want to make them aware of what's happening out here, So if that means that you have to fill them in with insight and information of what's actually happening, some of the actions that people taking around them, some of the verbiage and the words that people choose to use, because we all choose to use the words that we do. Not anything comes blurting out this mouth that didn't process within here to flow outwardly, This whole thing of, oh yeah, you got to think before you talk. That's not a real thing. You always process before you talk. You don't move this vessel without the spirit moving it. It's that simple. That's why when the vessel is done or the spirit is exhausted, the spirit leaves the vessel. The vibration leaves the vessel. It's not active anymore. So that means that you control it. How much more self-aware can you get than some of these things? That's what brings us to the point of having to, point the finger outwardly at some of these other tactics, because we done pointed the finger at us so long that some of us self-sabotaged ourselves. We allow other people to sabotage us because we just allowed them to flip it around and we took so much accountability for ourselves that we was taking accountability for others. I remember one time my brother, he drank all the Sprite in the house. And then this was right before my mom got home from work. And he gonna refill the Sprite bottle up with water and sugar. And it's like, bro, that's not even a close enough combination to resemble Sprite. Maybe the look, but it ain't gonna have that fizzle or that taste. So my mom came home, she drunk it. He didn't want to admit to it, so of course, who gets blamed first? Who has to be responsible for it? Who has to get in trouble for it? I do. I've been taking the blame for other people's shit for so long that it flows off me like water. I'm literally like an ocean, lake, and a river all in one. Like, that shit cannot stick on me. I've been doing this too long. That's why I be so comfortable in this space just being me. We all gotta go at some point in time. You know what I mean? So most of our weight comes from how we chose to walk our life, and everything isn't always going to get acknowledged up front. That's just not how it works, and not in today's society, But I would never stop or not teach my daughter certain things because they like, oh, you're not being self-aware, or no, we got to stop giving the enemy so much attention. Like, bitch, the enemy is out here. Simple process. You touch my daughter, I gotta have you. You touch me, I gotta have you. You touch any of the creators, people's spirits, I got to have you. It's just how it works. I don't know what else to tell you. It ain't no dancing around. It ain't no middle ground for any of that. So if we out here fighting this battle, I want the best odds at winning. That's what I do. I do personally. I want the best odds at winning. I don't go anything wanting to lose or willing to lose. I accept the loss as a learned lesson, but when you out here playing real life, you know, your life is on the line. So once you lose, it's game over, you know? It's game over. So I ain't out here playing to lose. We playing to win, you know? And it's really not even playing. It's just that's the word and terminology we use to kind of correlate certain things. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I mean? We are highly self-aware beings. So how we was able to get to a spot to acknowledge what we're seeing happen outside of us, because we spent so much time looking at ourselves and putting the blame on ourselves and taking everybody else's responsibilities and their accountabilities and putting them on ourselves, you know what I mean? So we just got to a space to where we realized and we grew comfortable in ourselves more than we realized we grew comfortable in ourselves, that it was like, yo, this is not me. You communicate with people, they saying and responding to you weird ways. You like, wait a minute, I would have never done that to you, especially if like we hadn't burned no bridges or done any weird things like that. You know what I mean? People backbiting you, snaking you, doing all this kind of weird shit. It's like, bro, I never stepped on your toes for you to be even trying to cross that boundary with me. But we understand these things at a much higher vibration and frequency than most would like to intake. You know what I mean? And we got to get to a space of just trying to unify. You know what I mean? I got the spiritual people over on this side. They like, oh, the cars ain't bad, but they looking at the Bible saying it's bad. I got the religious people over here looking at the people over here with the cars saying, oh, the cars and the crystals is bad. It's like they going back and forth instead of realizing like, yo, we all supposed to be vibing together. You know what I mean? Like, the crystals, cars ain't bad. It's just the day and age we in right now. You know, don't bring a tennis racket out here on the football field. It's just that simple. Like, I cannot use that tennis racket on the football field. I cannot use that golf club on the basketball court. Not saying that them tools ain't helpful. You know what I mean? It's just at this moment in time, make sure you have the proper tools out with you. You know what I mean? And stop blaming the tools. Don't blame the tools. It's so weird to me when people blame the tools. It's like, my car is not moving unless I drive it. Or unless I just wasn't self-aware and I didn't put it in park and it was just rolling as I got out. You know what I mean? But that's like somebody having 6 fingers on one hand. I don't really speak for those situations. But I have to drive that vehicle in order to get it to move. You know what I mean? We got to start bringing this thing together more and stop trying to say, oh, I got the best team. Oh, I got the best team. If anything, we should all be saying, we got the best team. We got the best team. We do. Because we literally got, it's like we just had All-Star Weekend. It's literally a bunch of people with a bunch of different jerseys all on one team for the same cause. We just had NBA All-Star Weekend. Process this the exact same way. Just because they got the Spurs jersey on and they got Oklahoma jersey on, y'all still have to work together to win this game. You know what I mean? So don't be sitting over there like, oh yeah, my jersey better. Oh no, my jersey's better. Nah, we on the same team. So how about we win this game and let's say we both got fire ass jerseys. You know what I mean? I ain't with all that division. I done been a part of that for far too long. You know what I mean? It's time to start breaking every generational curse. It's trying to start breaking every, I don't even know the word I want to use for it, you know what I mean? But we about to start breaking everything that's in place that is not supposed to be here for us, you know? We should be able to experience this realm with a lot of love and life. We have our little obstacles that we go through, but it should be about 70 to 80% love and light out here. Then you got your 20, 30, 40% of the witchy shit. Not the other way around. Right now, we working this realm the other way around. It's about 70 to 80% witchy shit out here. Then we got about 20 to 30% of that love and light, which we already know. Even the smallest light is going to dim that area where it's at, so. But tapping everything down below. I ain't want to run it up too long. Peace and love to the kings and queens.